Hi, I'm PigMonkey, and I got to interview Vic Mignogna.
I'm Gavin Carruthers, and I just watched Thor 2.
I have not seen Thor 2 yet, but I am Bill Roach, and the only comic book I've read this week is Powerpuff Girls. And Mojo Jojo loses his mojo.
What?
I've been single parenting. Alex?
I'm Alex, and I am just flabbergasted. I need to borrow that topic. I mean, really, we haven't even said spoiler alert yet, and now
No bitching.
No, I am gonna bitch about
No,
this.
it's
'Cause
already
Mojo
got the no
Jojo-
bitching.
Fine.
Losing
I
his
already
mojo.
got the no bitching out. You're not allowed to bitch.
That was a preemptive bitch, though. I think he's okay.
Yeah,
No, bitching does not get grandfathered in.
fuck you. Yes, it does. I'm Alex, and I just picked up the Nowhere Men trade for $10.
Woo! $10. I like $10 trades.
Right?
Saga.
Thank you, Image Comics.
Yes.
How
I
many
appreciate-
pages in that?
Oh, Jesus. I haven't
issues.
counted the
6
pages.
issues,
It's
so-
6 issues, but it's like twice the size of... Like, I'd easily say it's like 1.5 Saga trades worth
Oh,
of
yeah.
pages. But then on top of that,
It's
like,
dense.
it is dense. Like, it is just filled with... Remember, I was talking about it a few weeks ago, Nowhere Men is that book that was really confusing, but I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, this book is...
Really confusing, but you love it?
Yeah, but it's filled with artifacts. That's what I call it. Like, they're just pieces of interesting articles and advertisements from this universe in which Nowhere Men takes place. And, like, you may have seen people walking around with T-shirts saying, science is the new rock and roll.
Yes.
That's where this comes from.
Oh.
Wow.
This is where that comes from.
So my question is, because it is very dense with the artifacts and everything else, is it better to read it monthly, or should I go through a trade?
See, I don't know yet. I just bought this today. Again, $10 for 6 books. Like
And
6
It's all in
issues.
now. We'll
And then
throw in
they
a set of
jack up
steak
the
knives.
price.
Well, and that's what often happens
Oh,
with
yes,
like the third or
absolutely.
fourth runs
Yeah.
of the book. They'll jack it up because then everybody's reading it and they're like, "Holy shit, we need this trade."
Well, plus people are sniping
Then
image
it's like
right
15
now
bucks,
with,
you know.
Peter Panzerfaust and
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
But like this shit, when I picked it up, one of the people in the store, I think, said it best. Like, it's really confusing, but you'll keep reading it because of the promise of where it's going. Like, it has
Hey,
promise.
That's why I read the Max. That's why I watched
Yeah.
Beyond
Oh,
Flux.
Max. Yeah.
And I understand neither of those things any better than when I started.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently...
Actually, less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before it was just, hey, cool cartoon. Now it's cool cartoon with a message I don't understand.
Damn you, Sam.
Well, I've long since come to peace with the fact that I'm not that smart. So.
The writer, Eric Stevenson, I guess, has gone on record as saying there is a plan. He knows where this is going.
So there's no end number yet. It's not a limited series.
It's not a limited series yet, but he knows where he's going with it, and he promises that it will all come together.
Cool.
Okay,
But yeah,
I'm down.
the
Yeah,
art,
This
like,
is my poll.
I mean, I'll pass it around. The art I love the art. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's, yeah, what I'd recommend is the three of you, Derrek as well, if you want to. Derrek. Hi, Derrek.
Derrek.
Derek.
Hi, Derrek.
Is it
Hi.
evil Derek this week or just Derek?
If I keep saying
Yeah,
his name.
keep yelling at him.
Derek. Hi.
Hi, Derek.
Hi, Derek.
Stop it.
I was taking a selfie with you guys in the background.
Word of the year.
Oh
Word of
my
the year.
God.
Selfie.
That is sad.
Yeah. What does that tell you? Anyway.
Twerk was also in the consideration. But no, what I'm saying...
I stopped. I've
You've stopped twerking? Good.
No, I've just stopped paying
Thank you.
attention to
The world
words
thanks
since.
you.
I've stopped paying attention
Well,
to
Miley
words
was
since
right. Once white
literally
people started doing it.
since the dictionary definition of literally got changed to not literally
Yes.
as one of not just
no.
figuratively. It means, like, they put in there, it means not literally. I'm like, so it doesn't actually exist. It means itself and not itself.
What?
Yeah.
That's
At the
bullshit.
same
You're not
time.
allowed to use the word in the definition of the word.
Right.
That's like first day shit.
But
Especially to be
what
opposites.
I'm going to suggest is the three of you pick it up,
Oh yeah.
Well, that's happening. That was happening.
And then once everybody has a chance to read it and digest, I mean, and Derek, please pick it up as well. It's amazing, and we can all talk about it because it is.
It looks awesome.
It is weird.
It kind of reminds me a little of. Like, the art reminds me of...
I was thinking, like, Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot, that sort of thing,
It's got a little Steve Dillon feel to it, too.
Yeah.
You can see the lines quite strongly.
It is a little bit of Steve Dillon, but it's not shitty like Dillon.
Well, yes. I wasn't making a call on Steve Dillon or this
No. We've already made that judgment call on this show.
And I agree. I know I'm one of the newer guys, but I agree.
The guy will always have cred for doing Preacher. That's great.
It worked perfect.
But the moment, especially, I think I showed you guys the picture. The moment where he did an Avenging Spider-Man issue and Aunt May had Punisher face. That was it.
I could see that.
Dylan, no more. We're done. Go home.
Aunt May with Punisher face.
That's funny. The art, the coloring, the color and stuff of that reminds me. I don't know why I just thought of this, but did you guys read Vinyl Underground from 5 or 6 years ago? Man,
Absolutely.
I love that
was
book.
A good book.
It's only like 10 or 12 issues long.
Yeah, 2 trades.
But it's got the same kind of darker, kind of muted colors as what Nowhere Men looks like. I know talking about colors and stuff is fantastic on a podcast because all of our listeners can visualize it so perfectly.
But Vinyl Underground that's what I would recommend to a lot of people.
Great little mystery book.
Drama.
Scooby-Doo gang kind of thing, set in Britain.
But with tons of sex.
Yes, tons of sex and tons of drugs.
If I rub a crossed comic on the mic, they will
actually, their eyes
raped?
will bleed.
Perfect.
Their eyes will bleed.
Okay, fair enough.
Way to get the cross reference in
very
early this week.
Who says there just has to be one?
Very good point. Or bad point.
So,
how was your one?
My Powerpuff
Girl
Powerpuff
comic?
That's not true. Actually, that was for comedic effect.
So we can stop talking about it because I want to pick up the latest issue.
You're gonna love it.
So. Do they explain how Mojo Jojo?
Oh, you see it happen. You see it happen.
Whoa.
Mojo Jojo becomes unjojoed.
Yeah, he loses his mojo.
So he
becomes a baby.
Jojo?
No, he becomes a baby chimp again.
He's just Jojo.
He's just Jojo.
Exactly.
Does he join a band and play? Does he play drums
Jojo and the Pussycats
in an all female rock group? I feel like that somebody with a name like Jojo. That's what they would do. They would play drums.
Jojo
in an
was a man who thought he was a woman.
Your head is a very scary place.
I'd use the term interesting, but then again, I've lived here for 27 years.
Fair enough.
But the Powerpuff Girl was not the complete truth. Because I did read the latest Superior Spider-Man, and still love it.
Yeah,
they copped out a little bit.
Yeah,
the whole. You're caught up, right?
I'm caught up.
So remember when we first brought this up, guys? One of the coolest things that we found was that he was going to get his doctorate. Like Doc Ock decided that Peter Parker needs his doctorate. So a couple of issues ago, this all comes crashing down because the professor at the university recognizes the work and says Peter Parker has stolen all of Otto Octavius's work. Great little story. They backed out of it way too quickly this week, though.
They did, but I was really hoping that Doc Ock was going to kill the professor who was accusing him.
Yeah.
Because that would have been, like, the turning point.
Yeah.
And maybe that spark.
Or the opposite of the turning point.
Yeah. Or, like, I was thinking, like, that spark could have kind of lit the fuse of Peter Parker's eventual return.
Yeah,
but they teased so much that that bitch was going to be Peter Parker.
Yeah, I can't remember
like Titania or whatever.
She looks like Titania, but she Bender or Banner or anyway, she's the old Dr. Octopus girlfriend.
Yeah,
who comes back, and this is a great storyline. She comes back because she wants to kick the shit out of Spider-Man, thinking that Spider-Man killed Otto Octavius, but Otto Spock, Spider-Rock, can't tell her, hey, I'm Otto Octavius inside this body, so she's just kicking the shit out of him, and he's got to take it. I liked it.
I don't know. It was a weaker issue.
It was a weaker issue, but the story's still
I'm interested to see, because issue 20 had Black Cat on the cover, and of course she was only in it for like 30
she
seconds.
Gets punched in the face, and then webbed up, and he swings away.
But their interaction ends with her saying, you know,
I won't forget
I
this.
will never forgive you for this. And I'm hoping that it doesn't come back to bite Peter until after
Years
Peter Parker's back. So Peter Parker comes back and he's just like, oh, there's Black Cat. Oh my God.
What did I do? Anyway, still a good book, for sure.
How long do you think they're going to keep stringing it out?
Everybody thinks by the movie next spring.
That's a smart money, definitely.
Yeah, it kind of feels like they want to do it quicker.
I think they're going to start with issues 700.1 to 700.5, which will come out right like around Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then I saw some stuff in previews saying that Superior Spider-Man is part of this storyline that doesn't come out till like June or whatever. So
that doesn't necessarily mean that Peter Parker won't come back and maintain the mantle.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like we were talking about, like the Peter Parker by night.
I'm really thinking that
he does love adjectives. I'll give him that.
He does.
He's collected a few over the years.
But I don't know. I want another Web of Spider-Man to come out. I want to see, like, as much as I'm loving the long arcs of Spider-Man stuff, I want to see like a Legends of the Dark Knight.
Yeah,
but for Spider-Man, because that's the only Batman book I read now. Legends.
One
of the
issue,
Dark
2 issue kind of stories.
One issue has like sometimes 3 stories in it.
Right.
I just want to see Batman swoop in, be a detective, or kick somebody's ass, and then swoop out.
Batman 66 is fun. It's got 2 stories per issue.
I'd want to see. It would be really neat to see do Spider-Man the same way they did Legend of the Dark Knight. Spider-Man at 80 years old, who's hung up being the Spider-Man.
They did that.
In what?
It's Spider-Man Reign.
Yeah, it's got a lot of black covers, I remember.
Yeah, it's collected as a trade. Go to the library, get it out. Go to your local comic shop, get it. It's.
Is it good?
I like it.
Yeah, it was worth
reading. I liked it. It was so Spider-Man's an old man, and New York has been taken over by a despotic mayor who is using. Superheroes are outlawed, et cetera, et cetera. Mary Jane died of cancer. It's a dark, dark book, and Peter Parker has to. Well, he has demons from his past come back to haunt him.
He has
so
to
he has
suit up once again.
Yep, it's a really it's depressing as all fuck, but
it's a good story.
I liked it. Yeah, it's like an Elseworlds
Marvel
tale.
ones set in the future tend to be a little dark.
Marvel has the shittiest of all the futures.
Almost consistently,
every single future of theirs is shitty. Even like Spider-Man 2099. It's really like
it's Blade Runner-esque.
It's a corporate.
Everything is shitty.
Now, Spider-Man 2099 was okay. It's probably my favorite Spider-Man. Sorry, guys.
Meh.
But Doom 2099 was good.
I can't remember that.
That was probably the strongest of the entire series.
What else? What was the Punisher called? Ravage or something?
He wasn't actually a Punisher. He was
no,
pretty much the only.
No, there was Punisher 2099.
Yeah.
But what was the other guy that Stan Lee? It was the only one Stan Lee was writing.
It was probably Ravager.
Was it that what it was called? He had the big red mane.
Yeah.
There was an X-Men 2099 as well.
And
they did not find a place on the shelf of my memory.
Speaking of Blade Runner-esque, have you guys seen Almost Human?
No, DVR'd.
Really, really worth checking out. Like, I like Carl Urban.
Yeah.
He's
Judge
got
Dredd.
that.
Judge Dredd.
It's sort of, I see where they're going with it, but I think it's going to be really awesome. Basically, you've got a human teaming up with a replicant.
Yeah.
Do
you know the original?
I don't know the original.
No, me neither. It's a Brit show first.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's a remake of something for sure.
There was also a TV show in the 80s that had a very similar story arc, and that was called Man and Machine.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the main character's last name was Man, because that's how 80s TV works.
Yeah.
But it was reasonably good cyberpunk for network TV.
Well, anyway, definitely check that out. It was.
Oh, it's on my
really
list.
worth seeing.
It's on the
and I also got delved into Sleepy Hollow, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it.
It's soap opera-y.
Well, yeah, and it's really kind of like their magic or their story is just like a little too loose for me. I think I don't know what it is. It's like that's almost they're definitely using Deus Ex Machina to its greatest extent.
I do enjoy some of their kind of fish out of water bits, whereas like he's got the gun, he fires it, and he throws the gun away.
Throws it away.
There's the gun, and well, I fired it. It's empty.
It has no ball in it.
Yeah, it was interesting, but I don't think I'm gonna stick with it.
It's got potential, but yeah, it's not real high on my list. But there's a couple of new shows coming out potentially that might be good. So
yeah. So earlier before the show, I got to sit in the seat with everybody here. We got to talk to Vic McYana. He's a really wicked guy.
He was somewhat of a new name for me that first popped up on my radar a couple weeks ago when he was here at HalCon. Give us a quick little bio.
Okay,
of
well,
who Vic is.
Vic McYana is where I first heard of him was in voice acting circles. He did Dragon Ball Z. He did...
You're Canadian, it's Dragon Ball Z.
Anyway, not if you listen to the intros, it's still Dragon Ball Z.
He's just really mad at me.
No, I've had this debate with especially a good friend of mine, okay? I believe that depending on who's producing it, they get to say...
I totally agree.
So World War Z...
It's World War Z. It's not
World War Z.
Yeah. I completely
Anybody
agree.
who says to me, did you like World War Z? I haven't read that. But I've read a very similar titled book.
Max Brooks wrote this book.
World War Z. Have you read that? Sorry, I continue. That's a
No. I think we all soundly agree on this one.
That's a good, solid...
I want to just be angry and punch someone.
No, you're unanimous.
Well, you can be angry all you want, brother. But
Anyway, Vic was...
Just in the arm.
Vic was... has been on so many animations. If you've been in a room where cartoons have been played in the last 20 years, you've probably heard his voice. And
Full Metal Alchemist probably being
Full Metal Alchemist.
The one where he's up front and center.
Yes. But he was in... One of the ones that got me is he was Waspinator in Beast Wars.
Oh, nice.
When I met him, I was saying, like, you have me fooled a good 60% of the time. Like, well, I'm very good at picking out voices, and you have me fooled. And he said, that's really, really nice. I'm actually doing this thing right now called Star Trek. And I had seen Star Trek Continues before that, and I went, oh my God, you're Captain Kirk. And we just got to talking, and he said he would love to talk to us on the podcast, and he was a really awesome guy. I think we should...
Let's waste no more time and go right to it.
All right. I ask everybody who comes on the show this same question. That is, what is your geek? Where does your geek lie? And you, my friend, are not allowed to use anime as a cop-out. That's your job. I understand you love it, but...
Well, it's funny that you should ask me because I wouldn't actually consider anime my geek at all. It never has been. I quite stumbled into voice acting, but long before I was a voice actor of anime and video games, I was a huge sci-fi geek and still am. I mean, Star Trek, original Star Trek is my geek, and then Star Wars is a very close second place, and then Battlestar Galactica, and I mean, I love good sci-fi.
You like spaceships.
I do.
I'm totally down with you. I love spaceships.
Yes.
I loved playing Wing Commander when I was a kid.
So, what contemporary sci-fi is he loving these days?
So what nowadays is out that you're really liking?
Well, let's see. Well, I mean, the last thing that I really nerded out over was Battlestar Galactica. Was the remake of Battlestar Galactica. I absolutely loved it, and it's kind of funny because I'm such a purist for original series that when a friend of mine told me years ago that they were making a new Battlestar Galactica, I vowed before God that I would never watch it. Because I was like, I am not going to... I had such an affection for the original Battlestar Galactica back in the 80s. And I was so upset that they were making it again, and I was so sure they were going to ruin it, that I promised I would not watch it. And it wasn't until the whole first season was over, and my friend came to me one day and he said, I know that you kind of have this thing about Galactica, but this new series is really good. And so he talked me into watching the pilot episode, and I was hooked. And I watched it, religiously ever since then. And ironically, over the years at convention appearances, I've actually become good friends with Jamie Bamber and Katie Sackhoff and Grace Park and James Callis and Edward James Olmos and Mary McDonnell and these people there that were part of that series. And it's kind of funny because we became buddies. In fact, as you may or may not know, Jamie Bamber, who played Apollo, actually did a cameo in our Star Trek production.
I didn't know that.
Gosh, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, PigMonkey.
I'm sorry. I don't watch the movie Good. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just teasing you. But Jamie Bamber, who played Apollo in Battlestar Galactica, was the guy out on the hull with Sulu who gets blown away.
Oh, really? Structural engineer.
Yes, that's him.
In our defense, he was in a spacesuit most of the time.
That is true.
That was perfect, by the way. Actually, we were watching it, and Gavin looked at it and he went, "That's almost perfectly out of the animated series."
I'm also a spaceship nerd, so
Oh, good.
Vic, I have a question for you. It's Bill here.
Hey, Bill.
Why did you decide you needed to make this Star Trek continue stuff? But when did you decide it's like, yeah, I can actually do this?
Well, it's been a long time coming, you guys. My love affair with Star Trek began when I was 9 years old. So I have had such a deep, endearing place in my heart for the original series of Star Trek. And what's funny is that a lot of the things that I started doing creatively, I started doing because of Star Trek. Like I wanted to start acting because I watched Star Trek. I wanted to build communicators and props because I watched Star Trek. I wanted to make costumes because I liked Star Trek. So many of the things that I developed into bona fide professional skills, I started in to begin with because of my love for Star Trek. As far as Star Trek is concerned, Star Trek occupies the deepest place in my heart and in my creative memory. And about 3 years ago, I was asked if I would direct a Star Trek fan series called Starship Farragut. A bunch of guys had put together a fan production where they basically followed the adventures of one of the other starships in the fleet, the Farragut, and they knew of my Star Trek fandom, and they invited me to direct an episode for them. And I did. And we got along really great and hit it off, and suddenly an idea started forming. And the idea was, what if I were to take all of the skills that I have developed over the years. My college degree is in film. I know how to direct, how to shoot, how to light, how to edit, how to sound design, how to act. What if I were to take all of these skills that I've developed over the years, along with my childhood passion for Star Trek, and fulfill a childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk? And so that's what we decided to do. And now it's been a year since we launched, and we've got a wonderful fan base growing daily. Everyone seems to be very supportive and enthusiastic about the quality level of what we're doing. We just shot our second episode about 2 weeks ago.
What's it called?
The second episode?
Yes.
We have not yet released the title.
Oh, can you give us a sneak? Can you give us a sneak? Come on.
I can give you a sneak and tell you that it's named after the main character of the episode. How about that? We have publicly announced that Lou Ferrigno is one of our guest stars in this latest episode.
Lou Ferrigno?
Yes, dude.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. So cool.
All I have to say is wait till you see how awesome he looks in this episode.
I'm really looking forward to it. When will you have that released?
Well, the episode is slated for premiere at Dallas Comic-Con in February 8th and 9th. And we've already slated tentative dates for our next episode shoot, which will be in March. And so, we just finished a very successful Kickstarter campaign. So we are funded for 3 more episodes. And it's full speed ahead.
Oh, wow. Have you heard from, William Shatner about this?
Well, it's funny you should ask, because Bill and I have become good friends, but I have not really spoken with him about this at all. It's very important to me that I connect with Mr. Shatner on a professional and a friendship level. I don't want him to see me as some sort of a nutty cosplayer who dresses up as Captain Kirk.
For that enough, you do a great job with his movement and actions.
Your body language is perfect.
Thank you.
I have actually a question, because there are sections of that show where I was watching it and I was kind of sleepy at the time and my eyes kind of faded out, and I swear I was looking at an old episode of Star Trek. It was like, wait, it's Kirk. No, wait a second. It was just amazing. Like, you had it spot on, and you directed that. How did you manage to get those shots so dead on while the camera is facing you?
Well, a combination of things. First and foremost, I would have to say that, part of what I think makes Star Trek Continues look as good as it does is because myself, as well as the people that I've brought into the mix, are really good at what they do. My director of photography, Matt Busey, is so brilliant and amazing, and he's responsible for the lighting. And I would tell him where I want the camera, and I have a very strong visual image in my mind of what I want the shots to look like, and I communicate that to him, and he makes it happen. And when you add the assistant directors and the other people that are set dressers and costumers and everything, we all come together to make something very special.
And you did a brilliant job.
But now you have me wondering, in 20 years, do you get to make Battlestar Galactica continue?
You know what, dude? I got to tell you something. William Shatner was 35 years old when he made the original series of Star Trek. He was 34, 35, and 36 when they did the original series. I, however, am 51. So I am trying to make as many episodes as I can
Just get through
while I can possibly come close to pulling off playing Captain Kirk at 35, 36, 37 years old.
No, you've done a brilliant job of it. And something that really amazes me about the show is I'm really auditory focused. If the Foley is bad or if there is something that is off in the background, it's going to stand out.
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing in your show other than the fact that you don't have the original actors in the roles, which is not your fault.
Right.
It's just my previous expectations because that's what I'm used to, right?
Sure. Sure.
It's not even that you're better because, I mean, you are so good at being Kirk. And your other crew, like Chris Doohan.
Oh my gosh! Right?
I like. It was amazing that you have Chris Doohan in there, and you can tell he's having a blast.
Oh my gosh! You know what? He tells me almost regularly how thankful he is that I asked him to do this because both he and his family are very, very glad that he's doing this. And he does such a wonderful job. And we're just so proud to have him and the other people involved. And, you know, there's nothing else, nothing kinder that you could say to me than to say, you know, that, man, I felt like I was watching the original series. And, I mean, my desire was never to imitate Shatner. It was never to mock or ape him at all, but at the same time, I feel like, in my mind, you know, there is only one Captain Kirk, and it ain't Chris Pine. So, you know, for me, my desire was to honor the amazing character that William Shatner created almost 50 years ago, and you know, make it my own as an actor, but at the same time, pay enough homage to it so that people that remember the original series and liked the original series would feel like they're watching the original series. There are other Star Trek fan productions that have been done, and, you know, the acting is bad, and the people playing iconic characters don't even attempt to look or act anything like them. And for me, I don't see the point in that. I mean, if the point is to continue the original series, then it seems to me that as seamless as you can make it, the better. So,
Vic, it sounds like if someone from the original Star Trek series came to you and wanted to do a walk-on of some sort, would you take it, or do you think that would take away from what you're saying you've got set up here? Like,
well, you know, it's funny you should ask that, because do you know who was sitting beside me in the front row of the auditorium when we premiered this episode?
Hold on. No, wait a second. I am getting Nichelle Nichols.
Yes. Nichelle literally sat in between me and our Uhura, Kim Stinger, when we premiered the episode at Phoenix Comic-Con, and she absolutely loved it. I feel pretty confident that if we wanted her to do something, she would. But we would be very open to it. But let me tell you guys something about our series that I believe is unique to our series as opposed to other fan series. As far as I'm concerned, story is everything. We promised ourselves from the very beginning that we wanted to tell endearing, thought-provoking stories like the original series did, ethical dilemmas, moral questions, social issues. We wanted to be able to tell stories like that, and of course you can't do that without good actors. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think a lot of fan series fall short, is because their actors are not as strong, they kind of shy away from those kind of stories. And they kind of default to firing phasers and fighting Klingons and beaming down and flipping open communicators. And all of those things are great, but we wanted to really tell deep, deep, deep stories. So I say that to say that if a good story ever presented itself where we could work Uhura in, work Nichelle in, or George Takei for that matter, or Walter, or anybody that's still around, then we would love to do that. But we don't want to just say, oh, let's make up a story where we can have Nichelle Nichols. You know what I mean? We would want the story to dictate.
That is a great answer, and it makes me respect you more as a filmmaker. Well done.
Thanks. Thank you, guys.
I think that what I say is, and you did something that is really difficult. You managed to do Kirk without parodying Kirk.
Well, that was the goal. And you know what? It's kind of funny you should say that, too, because I talked to my AD, because, I was in front of the camera a lot of the time while I was supposed to be directing. And I said to my AD at one point, you let me know if you see too much Kirk. If you or too much Shatner, I should say. If you see me doing too much, quote unquote, imitating, let me know. And there were only, I was very aware of it, and I made him aware of it to help me watch for it. And there was only one time that I remember where I did something or said something, and the AD came to me and he said, do you remember when you told me about, letting you know? You might want to dial it back just a little bit. That little thing right there was a little too on the nose. So point is that I'm very aware of it, and so I've asked other people to help keep me in check with it.
You are really well known in the animated in voice acting circles. Do you think that has played a role in making this a bigger event?
I think so. I hope so. I would be the first one to say there is no comparison between the size of the anime fan base and the size of the Star Trek fan base.
Which is bigger?
Oh, I would say Star Trek. I would say the Star Trek sci-fi fan base is much larger than the anime fan base. And, when you consider that Star Trek is like a part of history, you know what I mean? Star Trek is iconic. I may go to an anime convention and, and there may be, 10 or 15,000 anime fans there, but when you start talking about Star Trek, you're talking about generations of fans. And so I'd like to think that the fan base, my anime fan base that likes my work and is so supportive and enthusiastic of whatever I do, I'd like to think that they have been very, very supportive and enthusiastic of Star Trek Continues. Another interesting overlap is a lot of anime fans are also sci-fi fans. And vice versa. And a lot of my fans may like my Star Trek production because I'm in it and I'm a voice actor that they like. But guess what? They have parents, and their parents are my age. And a lot of their parents were Star Trek fans. So these anime fans get to go home and say, hey, Mom, remember that guy I told you about that I liked who's the voice actor from Full Metal Alchemist? Or remember that guy, Dad, that I told you about who's the voice actor from Dragon Ball Z? Well, he and his friends are making classic Star Trek. Now you've suddenly got parents who might not care much about anime sitting down with their kids to watch Star Trek Continues.
Yeah, bridging a generation, and
exactly.
And what strikes me is like how much work went into getting that really kind of dated image, because we're watching it and some of the starship scenes we're looking at and we're going, those are almost like lifted from the show, but they're not exactly the same.
I love you guys for your attention to detail. I love that you guys notice these things, because all of these things have been thought about and analyzed and strategized long before anybody ever saw the finished product. Let me tell you about the effects in particular that you just mentioned. When it came time to have an Enterprise, we went to the one guy who is basically Star Trek royalty. His name is Doug Drexler. And Doug Drexler has worked on Star Trek, on every incarnation of Star Trek since Next Generation. And Doug Drexler he is an Academy Award-winning effects genius. And I approached him, and turns out he has an amazing model, CGI model, not a physical model, but an amazing CGI model of the Enterprise. And nobody on planet Earth knows how to light and move the Enterprise better than Doug Drexler. And I showed him what we had shot. I showed him the episode that we had done. And he was so excited about what we had accomplished that he came on board to be our Enterprise ship modeler. And the goal was never to reinvent the wheel. The goal was never to make the Enterprise look like a theatrical blockbuster feature film. The goal was to make it look exactly like it did in the original series. And Doug nailed it.
Yeah, he totally did.
And something that you said that I want to comment on, you said it looked just like it was lifted from the original series, and yet something was a little different. I told Doug Drexler, I want you to take shots from the original series, and I want the shot to start there. But then I want the shot to morph into something different. So like you would start with an angle, a camera angle on the Enterprise that's very iconic, but then the camera would start moving. And it would move into a position, or it would do some move around the ship or up over the hull that it didn't do in the original series.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
So it feels familiar, and yet it's fresh at the same time.
Dude, can I ask you a personal question? What were you like as a kid, man? Because I think this room has completely agreed that you are the coolest adult that we have ever talked to. Did you grow up just completely surrounded by this stuff?
My answer would be, I was a very weird paradox of things. I was a big nerd, so I've got videos and still images of me, dressed as Captain Kirk even when I was 10 and 11, 12 years old. I have, boxes full of models that I built and action figures that I collected and costumes that I made and warrior jackets from Battlestar Galactica that I made. I had my mom teach me how to sew, use the sewing machine so I could make my own uniforms. I would wrangle all of the kids in the neighborhood and get them to be in Star Trek movies with me that I would direct and shoot. And meanwhile, I played, all the sports on the sports teams at school and did theater at school. So I kind of had my hands a little to everything.
You were like Child Con.
I don't know. I just know that, I have held on to my childhood, my childlike love of so many things that inspired me when I was young. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so profoundly grateful for what I get to do now as far as voice acting and music and sound design and record producing and graphic design and acting and all the things that I do, because these are all things that I fell in love with when I was 10 years old. So I have a unique privilege to get to do these things as an adult.
What is the best advice you were ever given?
Best advice I was ever given. Wow.
I sent you this question ahead of time.
I know, that didn't make it any easier to answer.
It doesn't necessarily mean you had to take it.
Well, that's a tough question because you know what? I like to answer deep questions with really well thought out answers. I'm trying to think of any one particular piece of advice that I was ever given. I will tell you this. Let me tell you this, and I don't mean to wax religious on you or anything, but it's a very big part of my life, and so I would be remiss not to mention it.
No, I'd love to hear it.
I would just say probably the best overall bit of advice that I was ever given was just growing up, being encouraged to follow God's path for me, to acknowledge and rest in the fact that God loved me, and no matter what good or bad things ever happened, that God would always be there, that he would never let me down, and that I should try to rest in that. Because I've had some pretty difficult things in my life, and some tragedies and failures and plenty of successes, and I guess maybe the best advice I would ever be given would be not one word, but just kind of a general direction, and that is to look to God for inspiration and for significance, and to have faith that he's got my back, to have faith that I am where I am because of him, and whatever good or bad happens, to try to always keep in mind that that he loves me and is taking care of things, and things are going according to his plan. But then as far as the best advice I ever gave anyone, which was the other question you asked me, I think the best advice I've ever given anyone is advice that I give fans at conventions that I go to, and it's something that I've repeated several times, but I think it bears repeating. And that is, I try to encourage kids to follow their passions and to figure out ways to do things that they have a gift for, try to figure out ways to make a living doing things that they really have a passion for. And I'm not even talking about artistic things. I'm talking about anything that people have a natural gift or a natural love or passion for. Too many people follow money. Too many people make decisions based on how much money they think they can make, or how popular they think they can be, or this or that. And I think probably the best advice I've been able to give people throughout my anime career is, don't make decisions based upon how popular you think you're going to be. Don't make decisions based upon fame or fortune. Don't make decisions based on how much money you think you're going to get out of something. Try to make life decisions based on, your passion and your heart for certain things. As I've told people many, many times, you will be infinitely happier in your life making $30,000 a year doing something you love than making $300,000 a year doing something you hate.
Vic, I think we're going to call it there. Thank you very much. Very much. That was our discussion earlier tonight with Vic. What a classy guy.
inspirational. There was some really cool stuff that he talked about.
Yeah.
And
doing what you want to do in life.
Yeah, I met him. I'd heard of him for a while, but I met him Saturday night. Sunday when I caught his panel and he talked to his audience, I really respected him. He treats his audience with a remarkable amount of respect, and he really does love performing for those people. Yeah. And then I gave him my card, and he said he would love to get back to us on the podcast and talk to us. And I didn't get to see him after that, and he emailed us. And I really, really, truly, he blew away all my respect, because I really didn't expect to hear from him. Yeah, it was awesome.
We should get on to the Week of Geek. Week in Geek.
Okay. I have a couple of things. Doctor Who, The Last Day minisode, appears on iTunes, and it's free in the U.S., but it costs £2.50 in the UK.
Everything's more expensive in the UK.
Well, is this
that's like $5?
Yeah, I know. Is this like it's a 2-minute episode? Is this just because the British will pay?
Well, think of it this way: we refine oil here in Dartmouth, but you can still get gas cheaper places where they're far, far away from any oil refinery.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Suck it up.
So you're comparing Doctor Who to gasoline?
Yes.
Okay.
Powers their nation. And they will have to pay for it.
Do you get a tax receipt with it? Because the money's going to the public broadcaster. So it could be a donation to the public broadcaster.
Tax-deductible iTunes purchase. Your purchase will ensure that Doctor Whom is produced for many years.
Oh, Doctor Who will go on forever and ever and ever. Even when it's canceled, it'll come back.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Oh, it's audio form. There's books. There's everything.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm so looking forward to this weekend.
No, you know what?
The Day of the
Fuck
Doctor. No, man, the Day of the Doctor on Saturday.
No, you know what? I'm up against Doctor Whom.
You're up against Doctor Whom?
Yeah, in December for
Geeks
GVN.
versus Nerds. Yeah.
Fuck Doctor Who.
What's your side?
Flash.
Guy doesn't need no motherfucking TARDIS. He just goes through space and time just with his own fucking body. He doesn't give a shit. Oh yeah, you got a fucking police box?
Flashpoint.
But he fucking can. That's the point. He can go through space and time. It doesn't
Save it
fucking
for
matter.
the stage.
Can't stay alive.
No.
He can't stay alive. Doctor Who just like, oh, I'm about to die.
Yes.
Fuck it, new body.
No,
Boom.
and bam,
Flash
dies, and bam, new Flash.
Nephew,
Because it's the
here you
fucking
go.
Flash Force. It's the Speed
Yes.
Force.
Flash.
Give in to your hate. Strike him down.
Fuck Doctor Who. No, I just honestly, I don't give a shit. Yeah, Doctor Who sucks, and people who watch Doctor Who sucks. So.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be an interesting argument.
It'll be an interesting lynch mob if he says it on stage.
The topic is who's more equipped to bring toys to all the good girls and boys. Now the flip side of that is that in the PigMonkey question, who's more or how would your candidate enforce the naughty list?
Fuck
and
yeah.
take care of...
And here's how the show would start. Like the episode where he's Santa's like, ho, 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 I need you to deliver these presents to all the girls and boys. And then he dies or something. I don't know.
Save this for the show, man.
So there's your preview, motherfuckers. You know, if you Doctor Who fans all like... You know, there can't be that many of you out there. And really...
just shit on them all, man.
You know what? If you think you're so tough, if you love your
Simpsons
Doctor Who
you,
so much, come on out to GVN and actually prove how awesome your little Doctor whoever, whatever, whichever, however... Yeah, tell me, Doctor, how is this motherfucker going to deliver presents? Fuck you.
And he got spanked at Sherlock Holmes versus the Doctor.
Yeah, fuck him.
I'm rightfully
Sherlock
so on
Holmes.
that one, too.
Oh,
Represent. Anyway, I honestly, I don't give a shit.
Seriously, go to Geeks vs. Nerds in
It's
December.
my stage presence. Fuck all y'all. I don't give a shit.
There is a new language app being used that uses kitten photos as the background. So, can I has cheeseburger en español?
That's why the English language is collapsing the way that it is.
And selfie
people
is
are learning English through cat pictures.
Cat photos.
Are I cute now, please?
It would explain some of the resumes I've read lately.
Yeah. I hate humanity.
Love cats.
All of a sudden, Cross isn't looking so bad.
Two.
I just thought it was kind of funny using the thing that people look at a lot, like kitten photos. It must be doing something to your brain to look at kitten photos, and it probably makes it easier to memorize.
Yeah. Your pleasure center, if you like kitten photos. The dopamine or whatever.
Fuck kitten photos.
Fuck dopamine.
They think they're all fucking awesome.
They're all like,
fuck
ooh,
people
look at
who
my
look at kitten
whiskers.
photos. Now I'm just going to say that about every topic.
I'm down with you on that
Okay.
one. There's too many kittens on the
Okay.
friggin' internet.
Winona Ryder.
Fuck Winona Ryder.
Hints
No,
at a
don't.
Beetlejuice.
She's a dirty hoe.
Hints at a Beetlejuice 2 movie.
I fucking hate Winona Ryder. That's not even joking.
But would you take?
I
would you take a
would
Beetlejuice
happily
2
watch
movie,
another
though?
Beetlejuice movie, though.
Did you say, would you take a bit of juice?
No, I most certainly did not.
Okay, good.
But would you take a Beetlejuice movie if it still had Winona Ryder
Yeah, I would.
attached? There
I
you go.
would.
But is Michael Keaton too old to play Beetlejuice? No way.
No.
He could do it.
The makeup alone and digital effects nowadays, he doesn't even really have to be on screen.
Yeah.
Or on set.
Yeah. He Skypes it in.
There's a CG him in there. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's most of Blade 2.
Yeah.
13 episodes on FX of The Strain has been greenlit. For those of you that don't know, The Strain is a book written by Hogan and Del Toro.
Yeah.
Of Guillermo fame.
Yes.
And Hulk Hogan?
Yes.
No, of Heroes fame.
It's got a comic book.
Throwback to deal.
Oh yeah.
for our 50 and
60-year-olds are gonna
60-year-olds
love it.
listening today. That one was for you.
Yeah. But it's a very sort of vampire apocalypse.
Yeah.
So it'll be nice to see some vampires that aren't, sexy, because this whole necrophilia thing is really creeping me the hell out.
Rob Maillet from wrestling and more recently from Pacific Rim.
Sherlock Holmes, Pacific Rim.
Sherlock Holmes. He's the vampire master in that, in The Strain.
Very cool.
I did the panel with him, and he was talking about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Is he huge in real life?
Yes.
Yeah, he's massive.
No, he just plays a giant.
He's
Camera trick.
They dig trenches for everybody
Like,
around.
It's
I
like
mean,
with Tom
stand in.
Cruise, they have to have him stand on things.
I get to shake it, like I shake his hand, and he's just the really nice guy, a super Star Trek geek. Like he just, and it's like, shaking hands with a full-grown man when you're 6. You just kind of put this little slab into the middle of his hand, and he just wraps around your forearm. And
I remember
Showing him the picture of me and him side by side.
yeah,
It's
Or he
massive.
puts his arm on my shoulder. I'm just like, oh my god.
Don't make me hold this up.
Remember him posing for a photograph with Matt from GVN at Harbor Farm Confusion there. And Matt's not a tall guy to start with. The discrepancy was wild.
huge.
It's funny.
It's like you ever see pictures of Shaq and his wife?
Yes.
Did you ever see a video of her giving him a piggyback ride across the stage?
No, but I saw the video of them on Halloween. She was dressed as a man, he was dressed as a woman, and he started lip syncing to Beyonce. It was disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would
I had
More
nightmares.
disturbing than Shazam?
I think Shaq's got an enviable
Somewhere between
life.
Shazam and Steel.
Wow, that's pretty disturbing.
I try and forget that Steel was made.
Why? It's a piece of our heritage. As a geek,
Heritage.
we have to look at that. That's
I was
our
wondering
Pearl
where you were
Harbor.
going.
That was
Okay.
more. It's
That's
more
our
of a
Pearl
cautionary
Harbor.
tale. It's
Yeah.
more of a cautionary tale
Yeah, it's
than
our-
a piece of our heritage.
It's no, I'm not going to go there.
Well, of all the replacement Supermen, he was probably my favorite.
In like the actual character,
Yeah.
like taking Shaq out of the equation.
Taking
yeah.
Shaq out
Oh, I
of the
agree
equation,
with you.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Well, he was the only one who wasn't an actual Superman. He was the only one who was technically vulnerable.
But my
and
14-year-old rage, I still wanted to go to DC and smack some people around for John Henry Irons. Really?
That is a strong American name. This being on the
What's wrong
show
with you?
Trust me, not just being on the show, being alive is so much better when you just don't give a fuck.
I'll have to look into that.
Yeah, great.
hey, did anybody play a PlayStation 4?
Nope.
I touched one. It feels exactly like a PlayStation. Lighter controller. The only thing I played was Marvel Superheroes.
Really? Exactly like a PlayStation.
In
So I get
general, the
those-
graphics didn't thrill me.
Alex is a giggle puss.
One of my coworkers got one.
Yeah.
First the day they dropped, and got Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed,
Oh, yeah.
and he's waxing euphoric about it. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's Marvel, the Lego Superheroes was the only one I got to play. But I saw the interface and all that, and it looks kind of like Xbox. It's kind of like the paging through that iTunes
Well, as
does
long as
and
they,
all that.
you know, I know a good idea when I steal one.
Yeah.
I presume
Exactly.
they do as well.
You all right, man?
Yeah.
You back? Do you want me to talk about touching things more?
And how it felt.
After the podcast, man. You and me.
All right.
I'm
what else you got?
you guys remember the machete kills again in space?
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that was supposed to actually be a movie. It wasn't a parody. He's planning on doing that, but due to the poor returns of Machete Kills,
It'll be a comic
it
book.
might not be made.
Yeah.
By Boom.
Yeah, that's exactly what it'll be.
Think so?
Probably.
We don't need another.
You know,
big
if
screen
they
version.
had if they had have billed it Charlie Sheen instead of
Charlie
Carlos
Estevez.
Estevez, they probably would have gotten better returns.
Nah, I don't need another Machete movie. I'm happy with the two that we've
I-
seen.
And you know, I still haven't seen the second one.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, I saw it in theater. It's fine. It's just as good as the
Grindhouse.
first one, and it's just as bad as the first one as well.
You know
I
what
was
I saw in
perfectly
theater?
happy with it.
Fucking Thor
Thor.
2.
You saw it
Yeah,
as
I
well,
saw
Gavin.
that.
It
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty damn
Yeah.
awesome.
5-minute preview of fucking Captain America before the movie.
Nice.
Which I could have walked away at that point and been happy
Yeah,
with.
like seriously. Oh my god.
That scene where the cyber arm grabs the shield.
yeah.
It's right out of the damn book.
No, that was fucking awesome.
And just the pan up, and it's just like.
Yep.
Now the weirdest thing was I went out for dinner, and I was just, the waiters at Eastside Marriott saying, "Where are you going next?" Yada yada yada. And Captain America or the Thor movie. He's like, "Oh, there's a Captain America trailer." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, cool." He's like, "Yeah, Bucky." I'm like, "My waiter's a geek. I don't recognize him from my store. Where do you buy your comics?"
That's one thing. I don't know if I talked about this yet. I'm really hesitant to talk about the movie, like The Winter Soldier, and like what it's about with people.
You're so introverted, so
Well, I figure at this point,
No
if they found the
spoilers.
podcast,
That's a dirty look, man. That's a really dirty look.
I figure at this point, if
Bill's
they found our
just firing
podcast,
him across my back. No, but like I'm hesitant to talk about the movie too much to people.
Why?
Because I don't want to spoil for people who don't know that
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Bucky.
because there will be a reveal.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
Now, I made the mistake back when I originally saw the first Captain America with my wife of telling her what happens to him, not knowing that the next movie would be the fucking Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And now you sleep on the couch.
No, I was like, I was explaining stuff to her, but like right after the Captain America thing, before the movie like started, and she was like, and
that's nice.
I stopped, and she was like, no, she's actually really good at listening to this stuff. Like she has questions. And
everyone else in the theater wanted to hit him.
I was just like, no, before the actual movie started. And she's just like, oh, yeah, no, you told me all this at the end of Captain America. And I'm like, oh.
You remember.
But the mid-trail, like the mid-credits scene. Oh, my fucking God. Do you remember?
Yes.
Mid-credit scene?
Yeah, so they do a...
Spoil
they did
it.
Really? Is everybody okay with this?
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Of course, I've
I want
already
to
seen it, so what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only one who hasn't seen
I've
it.
got a terrible memory, so I won't remember.
So, Sif and Volstagg are standing, like, they go into this weird room. There's all sorts of, like, artifact stuff lying around. And this servant of some kind introduces them to the motherfucking Collector.
Woo! Right.
Benicio del Toro as the Collector is...
Del Toro.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And
Wow. Even
it's...
more impressive.
So it's a direct tie-in. This is, remember a month or two ago we were talking about how, like, the director of Thor 2 was pissed off about how they kind of pigeonholed in a thing that had to do with Guardians of the Galaxy. This was it. So they are there to deliver something to him. I'm not going to spoil this part. They're there to deliver something very important to him for safekeeping. So that is totally setting up Guardians of the Galaxy. Fuck yeah.
Nice.
They had a little tie-in with Thor 2 and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Last night. Or this week.
I didn't see it.
this week.
Yeah, this week.
I haven't seen the show, but it was very clearly
Well, they're promoting it
Yeah.
in the commercials.
I like that. I like how they do, like, I always got the thrill out of crossovers. I love
me
seeing
too.
crossovers.
Oh, Marvel
It's-
loves their
it's in our
crossovers.
Well, I
and,
mean, it's not just Marvel. It's like I loved. Remember in the '80s, a show called Whiz Kids, and it did a crossover with Simon and Simon. I thought that was so cool.
what the hell are you talking about?
I am old, dude. That's, anybody else have anything?
Well, we've already talked about the Preacher. All right.
Preacher.
But this is another rumor that Preacher's coming to TV.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen attached, though.
Seth
I hadn't
Rogen.
heard that.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were saying. Like Seth Rogen, as long as he's in executive producer role,
Even that.
but I can't
Preacher?
see. Yeah, he couldn't be Preacher. Like he's too goofy. Now you argue that Jesse
Custer is on occasion fairly goofy throughout the series.
Yeah, but
He's not. He's got to be this kind of gaunt, more. He's just not Raven hair enough. He's
Colin Farrell could be Jesse.
someone more along
Colin
those lines.
Farrell
Not
could
Colin
be.
Farrell, please, but
No, if you're gonna use Colin Farrell and Cassidy.
Cassidy,
he thinks he
the
loves
vampire.
you. But
Yeah, he is. He's got a weird. He's got a weird Irish name.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Saw
probably
Neil
never-
Gaiman hinting earlier this week at the fact that somebody owns Sandman too, but he wasn't willing to say HBO, AMC, or anything like that.
I'm still looking forward to seeing what HBO does with American Gods.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that'll be the proof, won't it?
yeah, like if they can turn American Gods into a good series, there's going to be some good stuff from.
And yet another one where everyone's watching it, going, "Oh, can't wait to see what happens," and I'll just walk through the background, going, "Yeah, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. See ya."
That guy's Loki.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem is in American Gods. It didn't occur to me until I said it out loud.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you
'cause
just read it, that was calling
K-E-Y. Low key.
and
He's low key.
unless you read it out loud or have somebody say it out loud, it wasn't. It was never a.
Yeah.
a
I was
point.
embarrassed how long it took me in the book to figure
Yeah,
that out. And
yeah.
I think a lot of readers
Yeah.
were. When it
Yeah.
was revealed, it's like, shit.
Well,
of
it's
course.
just really cool how how something that occurs in your brain in a specific way doesn't really.
No, I think that was what he was going for.
Yeah, I know.
I just think he's brilliant. I just think he understands the written word
absolutely.
like very few others, for sure.
And my only other one piece of little nerd rage this week is they've removed all the questionable panels from Harley Quinn Zero.
Oh, really?
They'll be on the internet soon.
Oh, of course they're already on the internet.
I'm sure they've been put into poster form already, so people can hang them on their walls.
There's no comic code on the front of those.
Don't judge me.
After the crap I take for Crossed, I'm judging you, sir.
Yeah, but Harley Quinn isn't like raping babies or
That's why the
jacking
panels
off
were
on
taken
knives
out.
and then stabbing people with
Wait
them.
till you see
I
these
wouldn't-
panels.
Rule out that second one too quickly there.
Somebody out there is drawing that image right now.
Feverishly.
Oh no!
Rule
So send it
34.
to PigMonkey.
Do not.
No, seriously, somebody do it. Somebody do it. Send it to PigMonkey. Do it. Do it. Do it.
I'm sending it
Do it.
on to you.
That's fine.
I'm plastering it. I'm going to have an artist
subject line
paint
will
it
be
on your
lol
car.
cats.
I will delete.
I mean, it's not
Fuck
wild.
your lol cats.
It's not exactly news that DC's been caving in pretty quick to pub fan reactions. So, I mean, I'm not wildly surprised. I just thought it was noteworthy.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
It's time for... The Sinning Pool.
I love the absolute look of rapture in Alex's face that really plays this.
I think it's my
Yes.
favorite thing on the internet.
It's that time of the week where we recap our points from the
Celebrities being bad.
from celebrities being
Sinning
bad
Pool.
and or stupid.
Yep.
And may I say, thank you, Rob Ford, God of Comedy.
Oh, man.
I don't even know how to tally your points this week.
One event though. Right?
Yeah,
No,
which
because
one?
we had you had a bunch of stuff that, or no, it was Gavin who had a bunch of stuff with Bieber that kind of got gathered into one event, and there's like a lot of stuff to cover.
All right. Just
So how do you
get
want to
through
do this? Who wants to go first?
You go right
Shit,
ahead.
yeah.
All right. So
Stand your lead.
okay. Chris Brown booted from rehab after 2 weeks due to violent rage. Not only did this man not finish, he flew into a rage, and now he's being sued. The rehab people went, yeah, don't want the guy, take him away, and
That's the opposite of drugs.
now he's embroiled in his court where he beat on Rihanna. Oh, sorry, allegedly beat on Rihanna because we
I
give...
thought they settled that. Isn't he doing it for the hit and run now?
Oh, maybe. But anyway, I'm just... Because it's Chris Brown and because I have Rob Ford coming up, I'm only asking for 2 points for that.
Done.
Absolutely.
Sure. Getting kicked out of rehab, that's
pretty
actually
good.
pretty badass. God, I hate that guy.
Nicki Minaj did nothing this week. Russell Brand was useless. Rihanna, not so much. Lamar Odom didn't.
Oh, yeah, he did.
What did he do?
Don't help him.
Yeah, he needs no
You're not
help.
helping.
No.
He had an interview and he's going to be playing back in the NBA.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
He's off drugs and he took a
Yeah.
training camp.
So that's all good news.
it was all good news that I saw. So Beckham, I actually didn't even bother looking up. I will skip Rob Ford and come back to him at the end. Obama had to change his date for his Medicare site.
Yeah, to
And-
next year.
Yeah,
I'd give you a point for
Yeah,
that.
that one's definitely
yeah,
a point.
he's
Yeah, that got some run around.
I
on the
feel
late night
so
shows.
bad for that guy.
I know.
Because it's legitimately a good thing he's trying to do. I just don't understand why he's getting just run over the rake over the coals of this one.
So yeah, so far 3 points, and now Rob Ford. Oh my God! Thank you, Rob Ford. You are just completely incapable of closing your mouth. It's amazing. I ran out of space of stuff to write about him.
His mouth? He has so much to eat at home.
I just broke your chair, dude.
Yikes!
I owe you a chair.
Is it actually broken?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, straight across.
Hulk smash!
Alex's zinger smacked the chair.
Barely.
Okay, so in the last week, which I would like to point out at this point that each of you had the opportunity to take him before me last week.
Yes.
And as my official response, I'll just say, go fuck yourself.
First of all, kicked out of office, stripped of his mayorship,
mayoral
powers.
As like this
illegally,
is the,
I might point out. There's no actual provision legally to do that.
This is the beginning of this week. Then he made that great plenty to eat at home comment. At which point I did a little dance in my living room when I
called himself Kuwait.
His staffers bailed on him immediately after.
Everybody turned their back in council.
Oh God!
It's a collective.
And then
it all gets worse.
Sun News gave him a TV show where he said that he was going to run again for mayor of Toronto, and where he would let the people of Toronto have their say. And at some point, he said he might run for prime minister.
I don't think that guy has run for anything in a long time.
Well, the last thing I saw was during.
Well, do the runs count?
During
The
Toronto,
man obviously has a lot of experience with like rib banquets, and you ever overeat ribs?
In a drunken stupor,
he's not. You know what he's like when he's drunk.
I don't know. How do we even put it?
Finally, there's a great video during the Toronto City Council where he actually runs up the hallway and smokes a lady who tries to stop him, and finally tackling an old lady.
Oh, a counselor. It was a counselor.
Could you? Yeah, but down. Oh my God! Could he do? I don't know how to calculate this. This man has literally exploded on media.
You missed one. You missed one little one there. He actually claimed that his problem wasn't drugs or alcohol.
Oh, yes.
It was food.
The drugs and alcohol were just in the food.
I would ask what kind of crack he's smoking, but we know. Crack. I did some preliminary calculations, and according to my figures, which I'm willing to...
Wait. I want to know how much, I want to know how much you want.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this is at least 9.
Well, it's funny. My numbers when I went through the whole week and his activities and the adding the level and the spin and all that, I came up with 8. So we're actually pretty close ballpark wise.
Like there's nothing in here. Like it's just like giant assery. It seems like a series of level 5 or 6 events.
The good news for you is that he hasn't even been charged with a crime.
I know, and he has his own TV show, dude. Do you have any idea how many points I'm going to score now that they're going to put a camera in front of him every week? This is like using
Rush Limbaugh on crack.
No, Glenn Beck. This is like Glenn Beck. Just as he's beginning to get really crazy, man. I love this guy. He's my star quarterback. He is my... And you know what? This is it. It's like Rob Ford hits a high fly hat trick far into the end zone, and bam!
Did you just use like three different sports metaphors? I'm going to subtract a point.
Hat trick into the end zone. Then he hit a triple sound count that you would not believe.
Are you on crack? Is my question. Like, I'm not even a sports guy.
I was going to let it slide as the sports guy, but you're right.
And the dominoes will fall like a house of cards. Checkmate.
Awesome.
I'll give you 3 points.
What?
Fuck your 3 points.
Fuck your 3 points.
Fuck your Rob Ford.
Somebody should pick Doug Ford, by the way.
And you are going to lose. You are going to clean up when that guy strokes out.
Yeah, I'll give you 8 points.
Eight's what I calculated.
Sure. 8.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take 8. That puts me at 11 for this. So that's 33.
Yeah.
So now it's a game between the three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, you could almost concede the inaugural sinning pool to PigMonkey on the strength of Rob Ford.
We're only
it's our own
on
stupidity for not picking him.
We're only on the first month. We have 2 other months, and things can dry up pretty quickly. I'm not so far.
Rob Ford is not going to dry out in the next.
Well,
2
he
months.
might die.
Good point.
And in which case,
Angel of death.
And then everybody's going to be saying good shit about him.
I mean, it's not that. If he dies, I will get one final giant blast of points. And
Depending on how he dies.
No, man. If he dies of a heart attack,
a heart attack.
If he dies of an overdose, then we'll give you the points. But if he dies of a heart attack, it's kind of like,
What if he dies in the back of a limo going down on a cheap prostitute?
Yeah,
Or
he has enough to eat at home. God, you people.
All right, so that's me. Who
Gavin's
wants
list?
Gavin.
I had a really thin week. Everyone's been really good. Bieber threw a rager with lots of naked ladies and a ton of weed.
That's
the
one.
Cops were called.
Anybody charged?
Nobody charged because it's
Did you
friggin'
hear
Bieber.
the stipulations behind that party?
No.
Bieber had a stipulation behind his party saying that anyone that broke the confidentiality rule of what happens in his party was fined. I think it was $5 million. $5 million. So if you went out and told anyone anything, whether it's true, not true, anyone in that house can't bring anything out at all, or they instantly will have to pay $5 million. Which is quite a way to throw a party, if you ask me.
Something?
Yeah, they must have.
In blood.
Right.
Man.
Well, I mean, if I was a tabloid, I'd offer 6.
Good
Well,
point.
and if I was a multimillionaire and I wanted a party, and I'd be like, all right, listen, you fucking assholes, you will have to give me a shitload of money if you go and rat on me for smoking weed, even though I'm, 19, and
He's got to be older than
kids
that,
smoke weed.
Yeah.
20, whatever, I don't know. He still looks 13.
It was probably in one of the states where it's not too illegal, though.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I just live in California.
What are you looking for?
I wasn't looking for a lot on that one. The $5 million thing was a nice touch, but it's basically just a mild celebrity mishap. So I was only looking for 1 point on it.
Yeah, I'll give you your 1
Sure.
point.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, my boy Alex Rodriguez, who I swapped in last week,
Yeah.
had a little bit of a meltdown today.
Yeah, just earlier this morning.
Just earlier this morning. Punched the table, punched the wall, stormed out, called everybody a bunch of bad names.
You're all a bunch of bad names.
Yeah, 1 step ahead of a lot of prosecution,
Yeah.
or as he puts it, persecution. So I think he's worth another 2 points.
I give 2 for that.
Yeah, it was quite weird. For sure.
But,
2 points.
basically, I'm hoping that now that Amanda Bynes has been judged competent to stand trial for her various, I'll pick up some points on that one.
Yeah, well, you won't
But,
get any for her being judged competent. If you had the judge who had to judge her competent, I'd give you points.
Once
but-
that goes down, the
yeah,
the actual trial goes down, I'll probably
yeah,
pick
she
up
looks
points there.
rough in some of those photos.
That's your
That's
list?
me. Everyone was really well behaved.
So
I was really hoping Ramsey would cook up by now. 3 points.
That's 3 points, so you're at 18.
Yes.
Okay.
I've only got 2 players. in the game this week. One of them being Mike Duffy. I
Yes.
hung on to. And now the cops are looking at his speeches and possibly bribery charges between him
he's
and
going to jail.
Nigel. I think that he's got some serious crime problems here.
Lucy, you've got
3
some
points on that
explaining
one.
to do.
I absolutely agree.
3 points?
Yeah.
He's
it's
being
heating
dropped in the cooker.
Yeah. And my other one is the Little Kim album cover hit the main newspapers this week within the last couple of days. There's a Canadian, I'm going to say Redditor because that's where all this art seems to show up, that says that Little Kim stole the artwork for her new album cover and
Didn't we cover
You
this
did
last
that
I
week?
mentioned it
week.
last week that it was starting to come out, but it hit the major newspapers on the weekend.
Didn't you score points?
No,
for
because
it?
I
Huh.
just switched in Little Kim last week.
Okay.
She was my switch in.
All right.
And she's got a boyfriend that went through the courts and was told that he needs antipsychotic drugs, but that's not really her.
No,
that's a person she's.
And honestly, that's not something that needs to be reported. That kind of pisses me off. It's like I haven't read it, so I don't know what vein it's in. But it's like if somebody needs antipsychotics, good, take
Yeah.
the antipsychotics.
Agreed.
Like there's a stigma around mental illness. Like Tom Hanks can tell people, "Yeah, I have diabetes." He can't say, "Yeah, I was diagnosed."
I listen to. I hear voices.
I need to take antipsychotics. It's like they're both health issues, and
They're both from imbalances of chemicals in your body.
I don't know. I'm not
Yeah,
shitting
no,
on
no,
you.
I'm just.
I don't know.
That's what the Google search brought
No,
up.
I-
I agree with everything you're
100%.
saying there for sure.
Shitty.
Yeah,
It is.
it's. I mean, shitty is the tagline of TMZ.
It
Unofficial.
really
It's
is.
unofficial, but yeah. No, I'm with you.
If I'm a
I'm
worse
with you
person every
100%.
time I go on that site.
Yeah.
And I go there a lot more recently.
I know,
Damn
right?
you, sinning pool. Damn you. So yeah,
What
Duffy's.
asshole thought of this shitty game?
Yo,
And it's awesome.
I'm losing my own game.
So I don't know. How many points did you get then?
Only 3 for Duffy. But actually, can I add to that Little Kim boyfriend story just because
Sure.
I did
Okay,
a
yeah,
quick
sorry.
Google search? And I agree with everything that we just said, but the story is actually a little more interesting than that. Schizophrenic ex-boyfriend being forced to take antipsychotic drugs so that he will be competent enough to stand trial for 6 murders.
It's not Little Kim though.
It's not Little Kim. I understand. I'm just saying that there is more to the story.
Okay.
It is not just media saying
It's
Look, this guy's-
like if there's a Little Kim connection that comes out in this, yes,
yeah, but there's
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not.
Did she dissolve the bodies?
She has the Dexter room
She
set
ate
up in her mansion.
them.
Yeah.
just like an anaconda, just like
yes.
a big duck.
3
Well,
points.
I would rather her steal art and make music than to try her hand at voice acting again.
Where?
A fairly bad movie based on a pretty good book called Those Who Walk in Darkness, where superheroes have been outlawed from America,
Oh, yeah.
and our main character is a sort of a SWAT team operative who is part of the team that hunts down the metahumans. Voiced in the movie
By Little
Little Kim.
I should get some retroactive points for that shit.
I should get points for that shit. I bought the damn
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
No, you should lose points for that.
Yeah,
Shit.
you borrowed it.
It's still at my place, I think. I haven't watched it yet.
What's on your list, Alex?
Nothing major for really anybody. I got Miley Cyrus bleached her eyebrows.
No.
Yeah, no, I know.
She finally explained the tongue thing.
What's
Yeah.
the explanation?
She thinks her smile's goofy.
Yeah, so that makes it better.
Yeah.
What's the tongue thing?
Every time someone
man.
gets a picture of her, she's doing this.
It's off to the side, not straight down. It's
I
off to
don't
the
know.
side.
I don't look directly at it.
Apparently, actually, I saw it. There's a new Foot Locker ad out. This isn't. I'm not asking for any points. I just thought it was interesting. There's a new Foot Locker ad out where some guys are standing around talking about how awesome it is that there's going to be this big shoe event like during a week. And one guy goes, "Yeah, it's like everything's right with the world," and then it feels like everything's going to be okay. And it goes to like Mike Tyson knocking on Evander Holyfield's door, and like he's standing there all done up, and he's like, "Hi, Evander. I'm sorry. Here's your ear." Like hands him a little like Evander. I don't know if they filmed them together, but like Evander Holyfield, they reconcile. They had it must have been some sportscaster guy with a lot of who wore funny jackets, like sport coats. I don't know.
He talks like this.
Maybe.
Could it have been Dick Vitale with the bald head,
Or Marv Albert.
Yeah, or Marv Albert with the
had a full head of hair.
shellac tear.
Yeah.
He
So
always wears the fucking
he was like saying
Biting them.
He bites prostitutes.
He bites
"Goodbye,
prostitutes.
friend," and like throws his jacket
He's
into
just
a ball
seeing
of,
if they're
like
right.
a pile of other jackets that are on fire. And then it goes to Dennis Rodman, who's at the airport, and the check-in counter lady says, round trip to North Korea? And he says, actually, one way. And the lady's like, oh, okay, one way, okay. and she like says to somebody who's like off in the background, like, he's going one way. So that was just kind of fun, like all these people poking fun at themselves. So yeah, I'm not asking for any points for that. I just thought it was cute.
That might be my favorite commercial.
I haven't even seen it yet.
I know.
The only two that I got this week, Will Smith. Apparently, there are pictures of him going out with another woman.
There are. I've seen them.
So
How damning are they?
It's not particularly damning, but it is exactly the kind of thing that I was envisioning when I came up with the 2-point level for this game.
Yeah, okay.
So that's easily 2 points.
And apparently, in a court case involving Tom Cruise, where he's suing a tabloid, basically, his sister is being called to testify, and he had a bit of a temper outburst in court. They didn't go into specifics in what I read, but he had an angry outburst in court because
Wasn't he? You're
was
sure he's
feeling
not
attacked.
practicing for a role?
Yes, I'm sure. So yeah, those are the only two. I
Yeah,
read.
that's
gonna be
that's
the-
too easy.
Okay. So 4 points. Cool.
You beat me.
Beat me.
I'm up
So
to
what
23.
are the standings now? 20. I'm at 33. 33
18.
15. Get my
and
ass handed to
23.
me.
Okay,
Alright.
so Gavin, you are in last place. Do you want to swap anybody
No,
out?
I'm in last place.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
last
I'm
place.
sticking with my list though. I'm good.
If I could think of anybody to replace Megan Fox, but I'm drawing such a gigantic. Like I was searching feverishly before I came out, and I've got nothing.
Sticking with your list then,
I'm gonna have to.
Alex.
I'm going to swap out Jenny McCarthy, and I'm going to take Doug Ford. I'm hoping I can ride those waves down.
There'll be some breadcrumbs for sure.
Yeah, no, it's
Oh yeah, he.
Jenny McCarthy's doing nothing for me.
No.
I mean, she does nothing in real life, so...
Well, it
you
looked
should have
because
saw it
I
coming.
ran across a story about her, and then it was just kind of her talking about vaccines again.
Well, I've got
It's always the same shit.
Yeah.
I've got two interesting choices here.
No, you keep your fucking list.
Well,
Just
I
for
think
the record,
I might.
he's got people helping him.
No, I don't.
He's got a whole team.
No, I don't. I have Google helping me. It's either swapping out Nicki Minaj for CeeLo Green, because CeeLo's...
Oh yeah, not bad.
or swapping out David Beckham for Jameis Winston, who has a rape charge against him. I think I'm gonna go with swapping out Nicki Minaj for CeeLo Green.
Yeah, he's about due for a cook-off.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of weeks. It's probably smart.
Okay. So that's it.
That's it. Well, congratulations on your week, Andrew.
Oh yeah, man!
You lucky son of a bitch.
Rob Ford is my.
We all passed on him.
I know that really hurts because every one of us thought that
this is no longer a gentleman's game. No.
The kids' gloves are off. The Hulk gloves are off.
I think we've come to time plus. So I am PigMonkey.
I'm Gavin.
Bill.
Fuck you, PigMonkey. I'm Alex.
Aw, the mating call of the loser.